Just barely outrun this. That was so like I was on my toes the whole time because I. What's going on, guys? Bullet290 coming at you with a video I do not do a lot. As most of you know, I heard about the leaks of The Last of Us Part 2, and as you guys know, I've played through the game, and not just the game, like the DLC that they had for the first game, and yeah, I enjoyed the game. I was really stoked for the second part, and you know, I planned on buying it, but now that I know about the story, you know, the cutscene seems just too much like the final product to you know, for it to just be a work in progress thing that got leaked, you know, like an early thing. The developer said, Sony and Naughty Dog said that what was leaked was a early draft of how the game should go, right? But when you watch the cutscenes, it looks too like the final product to not be a draft. Like, unless if they really, you know, thought about putting this in the game, and then, you know, they prettied it up and, you know, made it look really good, then, you know, maybe I could buy into that. But it's just, it looks way too much like what the final product of the game, you know, has looked like so far. In the, you know, today they released a gameplay trailer and talked about, you know, all that stuff, and like it just looks too polished for it just to be you know, a draft. So, you know, I was gonna pre-order it. I was gonna get the deluxe edition. I think it was 10 more bucks. And, you know, I've been, like, I am a graduate now. I'm a high school graduate, so I've been getting graduation money, and, you know, I planned on using some of that for some games I'm gonna get. Like, I'm gonna get Marvel's Avengers and, you know, Cyberpunk to play through, and you know, Watch Dogs Legions. I enjoyed the first two very much, so I'm pretty hyped about that game. And you know, I was gonna use it for The Last of Us Part 2 because you guys know how much I enjoyed the first game, and you know, I'm kind of glad that the leaks happened. But now I'm in a state of uncertainty. I don't know if it's completely true, and if it's not. And you know, I feel like when I make a decision, I want it to be a decision I'm very comfortable with, and one that I felt, you know, like, oh, that was a good decision either way. So it's a tough thing to, you know, just kind of like, I have to, at this point, like, yeah, I still have time. It comes out June 19th, but like it's just a tough thing to have to sit and kind of think about. You know, I've been trying to get as much information as I can, you know, unbiased information about, you know, what should I do. You know, like obviously the developers and Sony, obviously Sony's gonna come out and say, hey, you know, this wasn't what you think, because they're the only ones that can lose. Them and Naughty Dog are the only people, like the only party here that's losing, is because they're not gonna make as much money as they were. And you know, a lot of people who are now saying, you know, I'm not gonna buy this game, have taken a lot of, you know, backlash for it, you know, because you know, people have been called homophobes and you know, like all this sort of stuff. But I don't think they understand. Ellie came out, if you play, I mean, you guys saw, if you did watch the little DLC I played through, Ellie came out as like a lesbian in that little DLC. And you know, you didn't hear me say like, oh, I'm done playing, or you know, I don't want to play this anymore, or whatever. Like, I wasn't disgusted by it. I have no problem with that kind of stuff, you know. I don't like it getting shoved in my face, but like, that's a different thing, you know. This actually seemed, what's the word, like, it wasn't forced fed to me, you know. Like, it actually seemed like a possibility for Ellie. You know, like, for instance, here, I'll give you an example of what I don't like, and what I mean by I don't like it being force-fed to me. Avengers Endgame, okay, the final battle, between all the Avengers and Thanos and his army, right? They have the scene with all of the women, all the female, Avenger movie characters, you know, Valkyrie, Black Widow, I can't think of her name, Okoye, I believe her name is, the chick from Black Panther, you know, all of them, right? Captain Marvel. All of them team up in a scene and, you know, protect Peter Parker to get the, Infinity Gauntlet to someone. I can't remember how it goes exactly off the top of my head. You know, that scene right there, that seemed forced. It wasn't organic. Like, it just came out of nowhere, and then you're kind of just shoving it in my face here. Like, you know, like, I enjoyed Avengers. It's just, that was a weird scene for me, you know. So that's what I mean, you know. I liked The Last of Us. I loved the first one. I loved the little add-on story that they had, Left Behind. You know, I loved that, regardless of whatever happened in it or not. You know, and I don't have a problem with Ellie's sexuality. Okay, I think it's pretty uncommon in a game. Like, you don't really see that as much. And I thought it was pretty cool, you know, like, it's just nothing that you see a lot in the gaming community. But when you take a protagonist, a beloved protagonist like Joel, alright, you play a whole game through him, and you don't even send him off in a good way, you know? He just gets beat up because he killed. So how this goes, right, is Abby's father was one of the doctors or the surgeons in the room towards the end of the first Last of Us that was working on Ellie, right? I don't know how that works out. Anyway, that was one of Abby's fathers, and Joel is the one that Joel killed, and so she wants vengeance and kills Joel. And yeah, so that happens, and the whole thing is, you know, oh, she's getting vengeance, whatever. And then she goes after Ellie. She goes after, I can't remember her name. Ellie's girlfriend in like the trailers, or it's a weird, I don't know, her friend or whatever. You know, she goes after her and whatever. And she ends up beating them to a pulp, and in the stuff I read, she ends up dying or something, and you play as Abby. So, to me, that's like playing the first Red Dead Redemption. Alright, you die as John Marston, and then you play as the frickin' Pinkerton guys that kill him or whatever. You know, you play as the federal guys that kill him. You don't want that. Okay? It's like playing the second, sorry. These are just really good examples because all the protagonists end up dying in this game. And, but like, it's actually a good story reason, right? Red Dead Redemption 2, Arthur ends up, you know, I can't remember what exactly he had now. There was a big meme about it, and for some reason I just can't remember what it was. And yeah, so he ends up dying in a really peaceful way, and you play as John Marston. Okay, that's like Red Dead Redemption 2. Alright, in this case, for The Last of Us, that's like playing as Micah. Okay, no one liked Micah. I don't think I know anyone that liked Micah. Like, honestly, it was awful. I absolutely hated Micah, okay? Some could, you know, that's what it's like. You know? And you're gonna force this on a lot of people who love this franchise. First of all, right, Red Dead Redemption 2, or the Red Dead series, it's not an exclusive to a certain platform, to a certain console. So that's number one. They obviously, but you know, Rockstar makes really good games like that, and they have a really good story reason for their characters to die off. This story reason is actually like, it's awful. Okay. It's like, I would like it if Joel were to sacrifice himself so Ellie can like live on, and you know, and Ellie seeks vengeance or whatever. Like, that would be a cool game for me. You know, like the Fireflies come back and, you know, put a hit on Joel or something, and you know, like, or Joel to wrong someone, you know, I can't remember where Joel shot that one chick, the leader of the Fireflies. She comes back and kills Joel or something. That would be a cool game for me. Like, someone saved her and all this shit. Like, that would be awesome. Alright? But to have Joel die in the hands of some random chick that you literally wasn't even in the last game, and her father was like in a minute, 2-minute freaking section of the game. You know, like, no one's gonna, I'm sure this, okay, so The Last of Us, the first one, The Last of Us came out like 2012 or something, right? So you're expecting people to remember this like 8 years ago, right? You're expecting people to remember this random dude that you killed to save Ellie or whatnot, you know? Like, and the weird thing is, he wasn't really even a threat, honestly. Like, he was just holding a knife to him, whatever, you know? You probably could have just beat the shit out of him and you would have lived, and then, you know, you don't have to deal with this. But it's just, like, the story's dumb. Like, the story reason is the dumbest to me. I honestly, it's just, it makes me angry kind of thinking about it. So that's why I've kind of decided I'm going to, I'm gonna put my decision off, right? Um, you know, uh, places like IGN, you know, all the big gaming review companies, they get early copies, they get review copies, and they get to give out a non-spoiler review. I'm gonna wait for that part, and if they say, you know, like, oh, the leaks, you know, all the leaks actually weren't true, you know, this game's actually good, or whatever, then at that point, I will purchase the game. If the leaks, if in fact, Naughty Dog or PlayStation, you know, they're just not saving face, and, you know, they were actually right, then I'll go and I'll get the game. But if I hear anything about, oh yeah, you know, the leaks are true, or the leaks were true, or whatever, then I, at that point, I don't feel comfortable playing and purchasing the game, because it's just, what's the point of me playing something that I know I won't enjoy? So, that is where I'm at this point with The Last of Us Part 2, with all the leaks and stuff. Honestly, it was probably for the best that this did happen, though, and I don't blame this on Neil Druckmann, at all. Alright, he made an incredible first game. I absolutely enjoyed the first one and everything about it, and even the add-on, you know, even Left Behind, okay? This is not his fault, okay? And I know a lot of people are putting this on him. They added on, this new person came on, I can't remember her name, but she's a big, I don't know, it just,
Break-in reported. We need an officer on the scene.
that's a first. I've never heard that guy's voice. Anyway, this lady just came in and ruined it for Neil Druckmann. You know, I couldn't imagine working on a staff like this right now, like working on this game. You know, he sent out a message saying how The Last of Us Part 2 went gold, which is a great thing. I'm happy for all the developers there, Naughty Dog. You know, you know, it's a tricky situation. So I've been on quite a bit of YouTube channels, and they have done Twitter polls, and you know, when like 60 to 70% of a sample size of like 1,000, 2,000 people still won't buy the game, that kind of raises an alarm for me. You know, like, it's just, you know, I know a lot of other people are upset about this. If I worked at Naughty Dog, you know, I'd be like, hey, this doesn't make me feel comfortable with our game. You know, like, a lot of people are not happy with how this is going to go. And for them to just be, you know, they haven't really said much about it. There's the ongoing investigation that they have said, that they've talked about, but they've not really said anything other than this is a hacker who hacked it. Like, it wasn't an employee, which, of course, Sony is gonna say that, because if it gets out that they don't pay their employees, or they don't treat them like like an actual human being for doing work and stuff, you know, that's already a bad thing for Sony. Like, try explaining that at the next shareholders meeting. You know, like, oh yeah, this is what's happening. And, you know, The Last of Us Part 2 is it is one of the biggest PlayStation exclusives. Right behind, you know, God of War. I'd say this game is probably close second. I can't really think of another game. Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't know if it did as good as, you know, like this, you know, Spider-Man or The Last of Us and the God of War series, but this is a big thing. This is a big selling point for the PlayStation is its exclusives. You know, Xbox has Halo and Forza, and I can't really think of. I think Gears of War is an exclusive. I can't remember. That's what my Xbox One came with. Is Gears of War 5, I think, or whatever. But like the biggest selling point for a lot of PlayStations and a lot of people who play PlayStations is the exclusives. I won't lie. That's kind of what really gets me with the PlayStation mostly. But also I've grown up with a PlayStation my whole life. You know, I had the first PlayStation, the PS2, the PS3, and this, and I plan on purchasing the PS5. I'm just not. I had the original Xbox, and I have an Xbox One, and I still prefer the PlayStation over this. That's just my personal preference. But like, you have a game, you have a series that is the biggest PlayStation exclusive. Like second, we'll just say second biggest PlayStation exclusive, and a lot of people aren't gonna buy it, and that's not good for you. So that's where I kind of stand right now with everything. This is just an interesting situation. Probably not the best if you're a Naughty Dog dev. Like I said, I've enjoyed a lot of their games. You know, I've enjoyed the Uncharted series. I have not played the fourth one yet, Thieves End. I believe that's the one. I planned on doing a playthrough of all four of them on here. Oh, and a little bit of update. Days Gone on the series. Honestly, guys, I've kind of given up. I love the game. Don't get me wrong, I loved the story, I loved the game, I loved everything about the game. It's just, when I started playing through it again, I realized how long it was. It took me like a week to play through the whole game, and that was like, I basically had no life. I mean, yeah, we're in quarantine, and I don't really do much, but like, that was, you know, I was very invested in this game when I played through it the first time. So that's why I was really like, I wanted the. I still remember most of the things about the story. I tried forgetting most of the things I did know, but like when I know some of the things are gonna happen, it's just like, you know, what's the point of me playing? I'm not enjoying it as much as I did the first time I played through it. You know, for this game is a different thing, because I loved the story, and even though I knew what most of the time was gonna happen, I loved the combat. Like, I love everything about this game. You know, when I played, I'm trying to remember, when I played Last of Us, I've never played it before. You know, I didn't know anything about it. All I knew is, like, you know, I've heard a lot of people talk, you know, say it's really good and all this sorts of things. And when it came a PS Plus free game of the month, it's like, you know what, I'll try it out. So that's what I did, and I absolutely loved it. And you know, now we have all this stuff going on with the second one, and I don't know where I stand with it yet. So if I kind of lean a different way, I'll let you guys know in a different video. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. I'll give you guys an update of like what kind of games I'm planning on, you know, for the future of this channel. I'll let you guys know, and I'll get, yeah. That's all I can really think of. So, see you guys in the next one, and peace.
Yeah. I'll be here for the night, don't have to think twice. I'll be oh so nice, I have to think twice. I'll be here for the night, don't have to think twice. I'll be oh so nice, I have to think twice. I'll be here for the night. Travel far, moving with the seasons, go to Panama, then on to Ibiza. Didn't take that long, had no time for weeping. Fingernails like claws on my clothes you keep. And go store your bag, think it had a reason. Can't remember shit, but I got a feeling. Play you all my songs on a blown out speaker, did we work it up? Can't remember either. Running in circles, not feeling okay. Act like imposters, we playing all day. Last night we talked all about holidays. One day we'll get all this, then get away. For the night, don't have to think twice. I'll be oh so nice, I have to think twice. I'll be here for the night, don't have to think twice. I'll be oh so nice, I have to think twice. I'll be here.